The moment you lose someone you love, your brain registers it as a physical wound, not a metaphor. Grief lights up the same brain regions as physical pain. Your brain cannot distinguish between the two. In the first hours, the brain releases a protective shock, a neurological buffer that slows the full impact of loss.
This is why many people feel strangely calm immediately after loss. The brain is managing what it cannot process yet. The opioid system, your brain's natural pain reliever, is overwhelmed during grief, leaving you raw and unprotected. Grief waves do not arrive in order. The brain processes loss in unpredictable, non-linear surges. You can be fine for a week and then devastated by seeing their coffee mug. This is how the grieving brain works. The prefrontal cortex, the decision-making brain, loses significant function during acute grief. This is why grieving people struggle to make decisions, remember things, and manage basic tasks. It is neurological. Grief causes cortisol to spike significantly, suppressing the immune system and making the body physically vulnerable.
Broken heart syndrome is real. Intense grief can cause the heart to temporarily malfunction, mimicking a heart attack. The brain keeps searching for the person you lost. It has not yet updated its map of the world without them.
This search process is why you instinctively reach for your phone to text them before remembering. The habit runs deeper than memory. You may hear their voice, see their face in a crowd, or smell their scent. This is grief hallucination, and it is entirely normal. Dreams about the person you lost are the brain's way of maintaining connection and continuing the relationship internally.
The 5 stages of grief were never meant to be a linear sequence. Kubler-Ross herself said people move between them unpredictably. Denial is not deception. It is the psyche's first mercy, buying time until the full reality can be absorbed. Grief anger is not about being an angry person. It is displaced helplessness, searching for something to blame.
Bargaining in grief is the mind trying to find a trade. If only I had done this differently, they would still be here. Grief depression is not clinical depression. It is the appropriate, necessary withdrawal that allows deep healing to begin. Acceptance does not mean you are okay with the loss. It means you have found a way to carry it and still live. Complicated grief is when the normal grief process gets stuck, affecting 10% of bereaved people and requiring professional support.
Grief disrupts sleep architecture, reducing rapid eye movement sleep and making the mind unable to emotionally process the loss at night. The appetite disappears in grief because the hypothalamus, which regulates both stress and hunger, is overwhelmed by grief signals. Social withdrawal in grief is instinctive. The nervous system cannot sustain social engagement while processing profound loss.
Well-meaning people often make grief worse by saying, "at least," or "they're in a better place." These phrases invalidate the pain. The most powerful thing to say to a grieving person is simply, "I am here." I don't have to understand it. I am just here. Grief is not a problem to be solved. It is a love with nowhere left to go. Secondary losses follow the primary loss, the loss of shared routines, future plans, holidays, and daily rituals. The first year contains the firsts, the first birthday without them, first holiday, first anniversary, each one a new wave of grief. Grief rewrites your identity. When someone central to your story dies, you must relearn who you are without them. Grievers often lose their sense of future. The mental image of their life ahead was built with this person in it. The continuing bonds theory says the relationship does not end at death. It transforms into an internal, ongoing relationship. Keeping objects, visiting places, or talking to them maintains this continuing bond and is psychologically healthy, not denial.
Post-traumatic growth means some people emerge from profound loss with deeper compassion, new purpose, and unexpected strength. Meaning-making is the most powerful predictor of long-term healing. Finding a why to the loss transforms how it is carried. Some people find meaning by honoring the person through action, living in a way that reflects what the lost person valued.
Grief is not a sign that you loved too much. It is proof that the relationship was real and the love was genuine. Resilience in grief does not mean recovering quickly. It means remaining functional enough to eventually reconstruct. The brain naturally seeks to restore equilibrium after loss. Healing is the default state, not the exception. Physical movement helps grief neurologically. Exercise metabolizes cortisol and activates the brain's natural mood regulators. Writing about loss, journaling, activates the prefrontal cortex and helps the brain organize the overwhelming experience. Grief support groups work because shared experience reduces the isolation of loss and normalizes the grieving process. Grief therapy is not about getting over it. It is about learning how to integrate the loss into a continuing life. Time does not heal grief. What heals grief is what you do with the time. Telling the story of the person you lost, their life, who they were, is one of the most powerful healing rituals known. Disenfranchised grief is loss that society does not recognize as worthy of mourning. A pet, a pregnancy, a friendship. Anticipatory grief happens before the loss. When someone is terminally ill, the grief begins long before they are gone. The anniversary effect is real. Grief intensifies around birthdays, holidays, and the date of death each year. Children grieve differently than adults. They process loss in shorter bursts, returning to play, then grief, then play again. Men and women often grieve differently. Men more commonly use activity and action. Women more commonly use verbal expression and connection. Showing up repeatedly over months, not just the first week, is what bereaved people need most from others. Grief does not ask for advice. It asks to be witnessed and accompanied, without agenda. Grief never fully ends. It simply changes shape, softens, and becomes woven into who you are. The goal is not to forget them. The goal is to find a way to remember them that no longer paralyzes you. Love continues after death, and grief is simply the form that love takes when it has no place left to land. People who have grieved deeply often become more present, more grateful, and more attuned to what truly matters. The person you were before this loss may not return. The person who emerges after may be deeper, wiser, and more human. You do not have to rush your grief. Your timeline belongs only to you, and healing cannot be scheduled. You will carry them with you, in what you learned from them, who you became because of them, and in the love that never leaves.